among registered voters. Harris has lost the 5-point lead she had in the last NBC News poll back in September.
The new polling comes as both candidates hold events today in must-win Pennsylvania. So, leading us off this hour, NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez in Columbus, Georgia, and NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns with the Trump campaign in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Good to see you both. So, Dasha, let's start with you. The former president is going to be at town halls tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow's event will be with an all-women audience, and notably, that is a group that, according to our NBC polling, prefers Vice President Harris. So what exactly is the strategy?
Well, look, you guys talked at the outset here about just how insanely close this race is right now. So both of these candidates are at the point where they're trying to shore up the places where they are struggling. There is that gender gap. So the former president is looking to get some women over to his side. This is an issue that's really been irking him. He said at rallies, women like me, women like me. This is something that he feels he's not getting enough credit for issues like his attempt to moderate the Republican rhetoric and policies on reproductive rights, for example. But he also feels like he's not getting enough credit for overturning Roe versus Wade. He wants to be doing better with this demographic, and when it's this close, the ability to maybe chip away a little bit at that lead, narrow those massive gender gap margins just a little bit, could make a difference, guys.
And Gabe, let me go to you. The vice president kicking off a new push to try to get support from black male voters, and she's rolled out some policies specifically targeted at that group. Talk us through that.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. Good afternoon. It's an all-out blitz over the next several days. She's in Erie, Pennsylvania tonight. We'll be in Detroit, Michigan tomorrow for a town hall aimed squarely at targeting young black voters. And look at that campaign schedule. Throughout the week, both her and her running mate Tim Walz hitting those so-called blue wall states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, but also here in Georgia. Former President Bill Clinton was here, one of the most high-profile surrogates trying to reach young black voters as well as rural voters. Now, as you mentioned, though, she's rolling out some new policy proposals aimed at those young black voters. They include about $1 million loans for black entrepreneurs and also money for education and training programs. Also, legalize recreational marijuana to boost the industry. This all comes, Kate, as the Harris campaign is trying to get those voters in places like Columbus, Georgia, and places in Georgia that Democrats typically don't go outside of Atlanta. They feel if they can cut into Republicans' leads in this part of the state, that could make all the difference in these critical swing states, Kate.
And Dasha, I do want to end with you and discuss that other security incident near former President Trump over the weekend. A man was arrested near his rally in California with guns. What should we know about that?
Yeah, what we know is that a man was stopped at a security checkpoint that was inside the security perimeter. One of the sheriff's deputies locally thought his vehicle looked suspicious and did end up discovering 2 unregistered firearms and some ammunition. He was arrested. He's now been released, but both local and federal authorities are investigating. But guys, federal authorities say right now they are not treating this as any sort of assassination attempt or attempt to harm former President Trump.
All right, Dasha Burns, Gabe Gutierrez. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. A NASA spacecraft is now on its way to Jupiter. The mission to find out whether one of Jupiter's icy moons could support life beyond Earth.
The uncrewed Europa Clipper won't get to Jupiter's orbit until 2030. The launch was originally scheduled for last week, but was delayed because of Hurricane Milton. Joining us now from Miami, NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra. So, Marissa, why is this particular moon especially interesting to scientists?
Well, I will say it was a big relief to see it finally take off. It was delayed after Hurricane Milton. We saw it launch today, right here on News Now, and that was a big relief after a long time of waiting. But this is something that is a quest to answer something humans have been wondering for a very long time. Is there life out there? Could there ever be life out there beyond Earth? And of course, we've heard the songs written by the likes of David Bowie. Is there life on Mars? Well, the question right now is there life on this specific moon outside of Jupiter? It's one of Jupiter's 95 moons. It's called Europa. And it has captivated scientists enough to spend 10 years trying to figure out how to study it up close. And the reason being, there is believed to be a massive ocean beneath the icy surface there. And so they want to take a closer look to see if the chemical compounds are there to sustain or to ever have sustained life beneath that surface. And guys, it is no easy feat to get there. It is quite a distance. It's 1.8 billion miles away. Europa will face and battle radiation 20,000 times stronger than Earth's surface. And they're going to have to use the gravitational pull of Mars to essentially use it as a slingshot to get there. And they won't be able to have anything close to an answer for about 6 more years. That's how long it's going to take, guys. So we'll see you in 2031 for those long-awaited answers, Cadence and Clay.
Marissa, while we have you, can I ask about another milestone, an incredible landing that took place over the weekend? Let's show it quick.
We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now.
All those cheers, because that SpaceX rocket booster that returned back to its launch site, back to the launch site, and they call it the chopsticks. What's the significance there, Marissa?
It can't be overstated what an engineering feat this was. This was a major moment for humanity, for space travel. Remember, the larger goal of Starship is to bring humans to the moon, to use this technology, not just the moon, to the Mars, even further. And so they're hoping to make it a reusable launch vehicle, if you will. And so what you're seeing on the screen is a part of that bigger goal of having something reusable, as much of Starship as possible to be reusable to eventually bring humans to Mars. So everything in the last 24 hours, guys, is a part of this bigger journey to make life multiplanetary. Kate and Clay.
All right, Marissa Parra, thank you.
Breaking news involving Sean Diddy Combs.
The music mogul is facing 5 new civil